Hello everyone, welcome in. We are talking about flyaways today on our live training. Tell me as we're going any comments that you have and I'll try and answer them in this session. Otherwise I will see them once the live's done, if they're on Facebook. Instagram, if I don't answer you, just send me a DM because the comments disappear. So just do that for me and I'll try and open up Facebook at the same time so I can have a look at the comments. All right, perfect. Amazing. All right, so we're going to talk about flyaways in your hairstyles. So how to get rid of them so they're not a problem. I feel like flyaways is actually, first before I get into that, there's a few people that I haven't met before on here, so I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name's Meagan and I am a hair educator in Australia. So I'm a hair and makeup artist here in Brisbane, and I help makeup artists and hairstylists all over the world how to banish their hair overwhelm. So that's what I do and what I love doing. So if you would like more in-depth training from me, definitely put a comment through and just say yes please if you would like some more in-depth training on curling your client's hair. There's a lot more in-depth video tutorials. I'm going to give you a quick overview and tell you, but there's some videos that I can send you that are me doing it at the same time, okay, with the straightening iron. I will touch on straightening iron and tong in this little training. So yes, if you'd like some more in-depth training, let me know with a comment on this video. So let's get into it. So we're talking flyaways. So how to get rid of the flyaways in your hairstyles. I'm just going to give you all my hot tips and techniques that I use to get rid of them. So flyaways is the number one thing that I hear from you guys when you are lacking confidence in your hairstyling, is flyaways and dressing the hair out without seeing those flyaways and having that messy hair that's really cramping your style, guys, and you're taking photos and you're unhappy with the work you've produced because of these flyaways. So really the tips to getting rid of these flyaways is actually, they're very simple things. So it's going back to the start and just making sure you're doing everything properly, by the book, I guess you would say, and I will tell you this in a second. So it may come across and sound boring, but they work. So if you go back and do all of these things, you won't have issues with flyaways. If you have a few flyaways, you can use a touch of hairspray and get rid of all of them, okay? And I will talk to you about photos and flyaways right at the end, because I think that's really important to touch on as well. A bit of Instagram versus reality talk. So let's jump on in. Firstly, I want to talk about flyaways with a tong versus an iron. So they're different tools. They're going to be doing different things to help you with your flyaways. So if you're using a straightening iron to produce your curls, you're automatically going to get less flyaways most of the time, okay? Not always. So if you think about it, I've got a tong here. If you think about it, and you've got hair that is already a little bit messy and has like flyaways through the hair and texture in the hair, if you go through and tong that, there's just no way that you're going to be able to get inside this piece of hair here and actually smooth out all these little areas through there, because the texture's in it. You're just going to make it even worse by tonging it into the hair, if that makes sense. So you really have to make sure you're prepping your hair correctly before you go in with your tong. If you're a tong girl and you use your tong most of the time, that could be a real big thing as to where your flyaways are coming from. So inside here, you won't really see it until you dress it out, and then you start seeing all these little flyaways happening, okay? Because it's inside there somewhere, trapped. So making sure that you smooth the hair correctly before you go in with a tong if you need to. And when you've done that, making sure you're grabbing really nice tension on the hair, all of those hairs. Make sure your section's small enough that you can pull tension on all of the hair, and then go with your tong and really pull the tension. Okay, so it's getting every single one of those hairs down and around that curling wand. So that's, with your curling wand, a really important one. With your hair straightener, you're able to get a few of those flyaways at the same time, rather than blow drying it first to get, you know, the texture out of the hair before you go in. So same principle applies though when you're using your straightening iron, is tension. Making sure that tension on this hair is really, really good. And I mean, when you're using tension, I mean holding the hair, not on your iron. So that's just going to make life hard for you, and you're going to get lines in the hair. So just making sure, hey Andrea, just making sure that the tension's coming here, right? It's not, the tension's not coming from the iron. This isn't on, by the way, so it's not going to do anything. Oops. Yeah, so making sure the tension isn't from your grip here and smoothing the hair like this. The tension is actually here, okay? So you're getting that tension and nice and smooth through here before the iron's traveling through, yeah? So that is kind of the different little things with the tong and with the straightening iron, a few flyaways. Oh, one more thing with your tong is, I don't know where it is, but I'm really bad for this, but I do tell everyone else to do it. Don't you love that? Hence why I've got burns all over my hands at the moment, is using a glove. So even if you do have a few flyaways when you're going in with your tong, it will help a lot to use your glove. So once you've actually put that on through there, you can actually go through with your glove, because it's on, and actually push all those little hairs that are coming off here. So all these little hairs here that aren't actually connecting with the element, you can actually go through and just grab your hand all around the element and making sure they will all stay on, so these guys won't give you any issues later. So wearing your glove to do that. I don't tend to do it too much when I'm doing down styles. I don't find it's too much of an issue for me, because I will have to prep the hair before I go in with the tong if I'm doing it that way. But if I'm doing glam waves, I will use my glove and get every single little hair down if I'm doing glam waves that are super strict, if you like, and smooth, not a textured one. I find it super important to use my tong to get every single hair. It just helps with your dress out, saves you time as well, trying to hide any little pieces. So that's it for your tong. Everything else is for both, okay? So whether you're using a tong or you're using your iron, these little tips are for using any, okay? And as I said, they are getting back to basics, but they're so, so important. The biggest one that I see people doing when I'm doing live trainings is, and I can see in some people's styles when I'm marking hairstyles in the academy, is the time you're taking to produce a curl. So you can really see the curl doesn't have a good structure to it if it's been rushed, okay? So it really needs to be nice and slow when you're producing a curl. So this is mainly for the iron. It would be the same as if you didn't leave it on long enough for the tong. But straightening iron, you should be going about this pace, okay? Making sure that heat's going all the way through to the hair. There's no point in going in and like trying to do it like as quick as possible, because you're just going to take even more time doing it, because you've then got to spend more time dressing it out and recurling little bits, and you know, the whole thing's a mess because you just didn't get enough heat through the hair. So take it nice and slow. Not slow enough that you're going to get lines all through it, you know what I mean? But a little bit slower than you think that you might need to if you're having trouble with flyaways, and you'll really see the difference in the longevity of your curl, but also the amount of flyaways that you will not be dealing with anymore. So that's a really, really big one. And I can see that in a style if someone sent me something that they've done to be marked. Everything looks really good, directions are all really good, but those flyaways are still there, and it's just almost not come together perfectly. It always comes down to time. So making sure that you're going nice and slow with your straightening iron when you're doing that. Okay, sorry, I'm really out of breath. I think because I've been sick for so long, like my lungs are like not working properly. My partner said today, I called him and he was like, "Why are you so out of breath?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I just walked inside. Like I wasn't doing anything, but I just am out of breath all the time. So I need to breathe as well as talk at the same time." Anyway, what's our next one? I've got my little things here. So when we're talking about keeping the tension, if you missed it, you'll see it again, but I'll quickly touch on it. So keeping the tension in the hair before you're using your tong is a big one, but also keeping the sections clean. So what you're holding doesn't have all, little bits of hair from everywhere else and it's all messy like here. If you have messy sections, you're going to have a messy result, hands down. That's just how it works, okay? So super clean sections when you're actually sectioning with a sectioning clip. So when you're sectioning with the clip, make sure you're actually using this part of the clip, okay? So this part here has to go on the actual scalp and through again, and then get the hair off that you're using, okay? So that way, that gives you a super, super clean result. Sounds super simple, like how to use a clip, but I teach so many people this. When I was in the academy teaching, not my academy, when I was teaching apprentices, hairdressing apprentices, this I had to teach to most people, and you think this is a basic thing, but it's not. Like most people will go in and like grab it and then grab the hair like this and then pull it, okay? So look at all that mess and stuff that we've got going on there. And when you actually see the section, I mean, it looks kind of straight on camera, let's be real, but it is actually a bit higgledy-piggledy through there, all right? So using your clip correctly to get a really nice, clean section on there. Once you've got that nice, clean section, making sure you're using enough product to get all of the hair together. So I call it kind of ribboning the hair together with product. So when you have got that little section that you're about to grab, spray some product through it, whether it be hairspray or depends on your hair type and that sort of thing, depending on how much hold you need, basically. If I'm doing an up style, I'll go softer because it's going up anyway, but if I'm doing a down style, I'll use more hairsprays to get it to hold and last. So making sure that you're, sorry, a bit loud. Hairsprays are all here. So make sure you're putting your hairspray on and actually physically running all that product through the hair before you put the iron through. I put more product in before I use a hot tool than after, okay? So getting that in the hair and ribboning this together so that, see all these little guys? It'll limit that, okay? So yes, a couple is fine. You don't want it to be like completely crazy. But you can see how that will help limit all those little flyaways in there before you even go in with your tong, okay? And keep them all in check. Tell them what you want them to do, which is stay all in that curl together. So yeah, those are those kind of basic ones. There's kind of one left that I'll tell you about that's more of a technique, so I'll get into that in a second. But you will notice most of this is before you even pick up your iron, okay? So most of it is prep work, how you're holding things, how you're sectioning things, the product that you're using, how much product that you're using. So all those things, I know, as I said, it's a little boring. It's not like a magic, technique that gets rid of all of your flyaways straight away. It's all those little things leading up to grabbing your tool, okay, that make a massive difference. So one thing that I will say that I do see a lot in the way of technique, I'll take you through that. If you caught my live last week or watched the replay, I talked a little bit about directional placement. So I have two different placements that I do my curls. I will do a flat base curl or a volume curl. So they're two different types of curls that I use on my clients. As they sound, a volume curl gives more volume at the root, and a flat base curl is a flatter, flat at the base and then has volume after the base. So as a standard, I do a volume curl is my standard go-to curl throughout the head. I'll use the tong. For you guys who saw it last week, I was using the iron, so I'll show you with the tong, the same thing, but obviously different tool. So a volume curl, underneath you're going to get that pop of volume. A flat base curl is going to go that way, and you're going to get that flat base and then the pop of volume there. Okay, so they're the two types of curls that I use directionally. Now, if you're going to go through and do flat base curls, you are going to get more flyaways. Okay, so this is a flat based curl that I'll do through here just to show you what I mean. So that's your flat base curl through here. So all through here, with that direction that you've done, if you've got little layers and stuff through the hair, this automatically tells them to go in and do like a little ski jump. So when you are brushing it all out, all these little guys are going to want to actually flick up and out of your hairstyle. If you do a flat based, volume curl, a bit more here. Alright, so if you do a volume curl, just do that bit so you can see, you're automatically through this area, because this is where we mostly notice our flyaways, don't we? Kind of through this area, through the ends, they kind of do their thing a little bit, don't they? They kind of integrate and a little bit's fine, but here's where we don't want to see the flyaways at all. So through here with this volume curl, we're telling these hairs to come down and under, okay, before they come out here and ribbon into this curl. So automatically you're not going to get all these little guys coming up from that flat base curl, because you're telling them all to sit under. You're curling them all under. So that's a really important one when you're doing, it doesn't matter kind of throughout the hairstyle, as I said in the last training, if you're doing a flat based or a volume curl, it's personal preference depending on what the style you're doing. You're only going to see it at the front and the top and the crown, because all the bases are all hidden underneath anyway, and you're still doing the right directions. So making sure that you always do that volume curl on the part line. Through here you can change it up because it looks pretty both ways on the face. So through the part line and then on the crown. You want to be doing a volume curl. All right, A, it just looks better, and B, you're going to get less flyaways. So if I show you, see if I can show you one of each through here. Oh, we've got an error. She's still hot. All right. So this is a flat base curl. See how we're getting that volume through there? That's our volume there. And if we do a flat base, I'll do the same direction, so coming away from the face on this side. Alright, so to do flat base, what am I doing? I'll meet the directions so you can see a little bit easier. So this is a flat base curl. So see those roots there? See how that's going to be flat now instead of the opposite way? So this is a difference. So this is a flat base curl here, so it's flat and then it pops out, and this pops out from the front, from the roots, sorry, it's all volume curl. So when we dress these out, this one is always going to sit a little nicer for like the crown and your part line. Pull them through there. So you can already see this guy's got a few little flyaways. Hard to see when I've only got 2 curls in the hair, but you can see how this is going to sit a little flatter and a little bit nicer on the crown, and all those hairs are going to go into it. Plus it gives you that kind of depth over the crown rather than the curls being too high, because it kind of softens that area with a flat based, volume curl. Always confusing myself as well. So yeah, drop me a comment if that isn't making sense to you, or if you want me to show you anything else while I am on here. I will do a quick little recap of all the little tips and tricks that I've just talked about before I go. I will just double check for comments. Cool, that's all good. Okay, perfect. I'll just give you a little run through then. Any questions, let me know. And if you do want that training that I was talking about, let me know. If you missed that, you might have to watch the little replay. I'm just gonna, just gonna screenshot that because someone did want it, because the comments delete after I upload this. So I'm just gonna screenshot that now. Amazing. I will send that over to your inbox, the link, and you can just jump on there and start watching those videos. All right, so a little recap. So flyaways, to get rid of them, down back to basics, okay? Prep the hair really well. So if you're using a tong, making sure you're smoothing the hair enough so that when you're using the tong, it doesn't trap flyaways inside, essentially. Use a glove if you're using the tong, to make sure all those little hairs get the heat on them, and you tell them to go with that curl so it limits the flyaways. Making sure you use enough product to kind of ribbon the hair before putting the tong or the iron on, just to make sure you have every single hair in that section going into that one curl that you're creating. And from that, making sure you have got those super clean sections, using your clips properly, having everything nice and clean from when you section at the bottom through to the sections within a section, keeping it super clean and using that product to help you. On that, there's another little tip that does help if you've got a lot of flyaways through here to start with. I like using a Stronghold non-aerosol hairspray, and I'll actually spray that through while I'm working down here, okay? Before I even get up here, I'm just gonna get those little flyaways sitting into that hair before I even go in and grab that section. So it just gives it time to settle into the hair rather than little pieces, you know, coming up everywhere. What else have we got? Slow. So making sure you're slowing it down when you're doing your iron curl. Okay, so nice and slow. A little bit slower than what you think you need to. Kind of like walking down an aisle. Isn't that what they tell you when you walk down an aisle? To make sure that you go slower than what you think you are, because you're always going to race because you're nervous. Look, that could have something to do with it. You could be nervous doing your curls. But generally you're thinking get in there and get it done, because you see people doing it really quickly, especially when the tutorials are sped up. But slower is better. Get every single hair in that heat, you know, not a half-assed heat, basically, if you're being quick. And what I was just talking about, which is the flat-based versus volume curl. So that flat-based curl is always going to flick up a few flyaways. If you've got layering or breakage through those areas, it's going to flick them up a little bit more. If you've done all your prep correctly, that one's not going to be as damaging, I guess, for getting flyaways. But yeah, it still will contribute a little bit, and it will definitely contribute if you are not doing the other things correctly. So with that in mind, I do want to talk a little bit about taking photos and your flyaways, because we see all these photos on Instagram, obviously mine included, but I don't just snap away a photo and upload it, okay? So I will position the head perfectly. I'll actually get rid of the flyaways in that photo, because there's so many times, I know you guys have done this too, where you've taken a photo and you're like, great, excuse me, great, can't post it because there's like this one hair there, or there's this couple of hairs here doing something weird, all right, that you didn't see before. So I've done that so many times, so that when I do take photos of my content of my hair, that I'm looking for it straight away, and I'll know, and you just get into the zone of looking for it, okay? So I will actually spray down those hairs at that very angle, okay, before I take that photo. So it's not that you're seeing all these photos that are perfect, that everyone has perfect styles. It's that everyone's perfecting the style at that very angle for the photo, okay? So they might move their head a little bit, and then you will see like a few flyaways around there, right? And then they'd spray it down and take another photo. So it's not like a hairstyle in the real world needs to have 0 flyaways at all. You're always gonna have a few little flyaways. It's about having the curl structurally sound and neat enough so that when you dress it out, it's not a party of flyaways, okay? So a few little ones here and there, you're just not gonna notice. You would pop a little bit of hairspray and that's perfect, okay? So yeah, don't beat yourselves up about having flyaways, but if you are constantly getting them and it's getting you down and you feel like you can't post any of your photos, or you're just not happy with your work when it's complete, then yes, of course, you do need to go back and look at your fundamentals and kind of perfect that, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But you will always have some, so don't beat yourself up. Just grab your hairspray and hairspray those few little ones that you need to. If you've done everything correctly, that's all you need to do, okay? And if you need more than that, then you need to go back to the start, okay? Making sure everything else is perfect. So I hope this has helped you. As I said, if you do want more in-depth on actual curling, I've got a lot of in-depth videos on how to create the perfect curl without the flyaways. So I will actually take you through each kind of mistake, if you will, that most hair and makeup artists do when they're curling hair, and correct it and show you the way that I do it and how the best way to get rid of those flyaways. So if you would like that training, send me a DM and I can send it to you back, or just comment on this video, whether it's live or the replay, and I'll just screenshot it now if it's live so I can send it to you. Otherwise, when you go back and watch the replay, if you have missed a bit of this, just comment yes please, or would love it, anything you want, and I'll get in contact with you and just send you the link where you can just jump on and watch it straight away. So yeah, if you guys don't have any questions for me, I'm going to head off. And oh good, look at that, 7 o'clock. My kids are probably already in bed asleep, hopefully, so I can go up and have a tea without any jobs to do. That'll be good. All right, amazing. You're welcome. I've screenshotted you, so I will send you that training over soon, and I'll chat to you soon. All right, guys, enjoy your night.